What's up, guys? Long time no see, right? It's been a while. So, as usual, here to do a movie review, and it's gonna get weird. Alright, so, first things first, this movie was directed by David Lynch. David Lynch in the movie I might have mentioned on my channel. I might even did a review for it. The remake, that is. You probably could stream it right now on HBO. It's called Dune. It's a huge sci-fi epic. Well, that was a remake of a older film, also called Dune. And the main character of that one is also in this movie I'm about to talk about right now. The actor's name's Kyle MacLachlan. You know him if you've seen him. But anyway, David Lynch, I dig him. He's like another David Cronenberg, very weird, out of place director. Thinks outside the box, very super visual. No one really could compare to him. Bizarre guy, but someone you could definitely have a beer with. I also like him because he went to school here, I believe in the 60s. Was it the 70s? Some time ago in Philadelphia. He went to the School of Arts here to learn his craft. Was also terrorized in the process. I believe he stayed at the Fairmount section of Philadelphia, and it was kind of rough. There's murders. His mansion-esque kind of house, which he bought on the cheap, was broken into. His car was stolen. So yeah, and all this while trying to raise a family. He met a girl at school, married her, had a kid, but just was petrified of his surroundings. And I guess at the time, Philly came off as very industrial, so that influenced a earlier movie, one of his first feature-length films called Eraserhead, which I definitely recommend. It's a very art house, bizarre horror thriller. It's all that mixed in. I can't even explain to you what it is because it's that far out. This one, I'm going to try and break down the best I can for you. Alright, you ready? Okay, so it's called Blue Velvet. And it was made in 1986. And basically, it's about this college student, Jeffrey, who comes home in the midst of his father having a stroke. A really mean stroke, too. It's like body seizing up, and they show it on film too. It's pretty graphic, not bloody or nothing, just really graphic. And so now he's kind of tasked with watching over his father. And this town he's in reminds me of like the Beetlejuice town. It's like really run-of-the-mill suburban, I want to say. Really out there. Doesn't fit, but it's just bizarre, and it works for the story. Well, anyway, one day he's just, I guess, just strolling through the woods, and he finds a severed ear. And, normally people run away from stuff like that. He has to, analyze it and give it to a detective. But, he can't rest. It kind of irks him. Like, okay, what's this about? So, he kind of teams up with the detective's daughter, Sandy, who's played by Laura Dern. And they kind of go on this little manhunt or mystery hunt to figure out what this is about. So through forensics and information, they kind of track this whole situation with the severed ear to this lounge dancer or lounge singer type girl named Dorothy, who's played by a really well-known Italian actress at the time, Isabella Rossellini, whose father's actually was a really big deal filmmaker. But anyway, and she's being tormented by this lunatic named Frank, who's played by one of my favorite actors, Dennis Hopper. Easy Rider, True Romance, that Dennis Hopper. Cool guy. Needs no introduction. And throughout the movie, he gets high through sucking in oxygen, and he's really overly sexualized. He torments Dorothy, to no one. You can just put together what he does to her. And Jeffrey, he kind of feels sorry for her. He sneaks into her apartment, try to get information. So he's watching it through shutters. Frank pretty much torment this poor girl. So he tries to, kind of take it upon himself to help her figure out this crime. Is it connected? And it leads to this downward spiral. This crazy path, and it's exciting. It's a great movie. It's not that fast paced, but it's very bizarre. It doesn't need to be fast paced. One thing about David Lynch movies, they don't follow that, script, shot for shot in order thing. It's kind of like how Quentin Tarantino will sometimes show like a backstory, then the main story, then I'll jump ahead, I'll jump back. It's very all over the place. So this is that, but just in frames. Every shot feels like a picture to me, or like some kind of still life come to life and motion, and it's just very bizarre. The characters he meets, our main character, the people he comes across, the situation he's in. The Dennis Hopper's character is very like over sexualized sometimes, and it does have some sexual tension in the movie. It's there. It's violent when it wants to be, and just off the beaten path. And I think that's the best I can describe. So like, it's definitely it's not a whodunit kind of movie. It's definitely like a mystery thriller type. And yeah, that's about as descriptive as I could get, because this movie, like I said, it's very all over the place. And anyone who knows David Lynch, these are his movies. Are they fun? Yes. Are they confusing? Sometimes. You might need to watch it again just to get it. I know I did. But nonetheless, it's a great movie. It's one of his top tier kind of films. Um, I recommend it, sure. Watch it. It's been around long enough where you could stream it probably anywhere. And I picked this one because I feel like it's more accessible. And there's a lot of familiar faces in this film. But just enough weirdness for you to get a taste of David Lynch. If you want full weirdness, I recommend Eraserhead and Lost Highway. Two excellent films. But yeah, Blue Velvet, it's great. It's one of David Lynch's classics. And if you want to go into the world slowly of David Lynch, this is the kind of movie. Like I said, you might know him from Twin Peaks and other films such as Dune. But this one is definitely David Lynch, prime. And it's fun. It's entertaining. And I think you should watch it. It's, if anything, like I said, it's very out there and probably something you haven't seen before. So, yeah, do yourself a favor and check it out. Alright, guys, that's all I got to say. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Blue Velvet. Check it out. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace.